That's wonderful!
Welcome to episode 2 of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in for the second time around. My name is Aaron Taide.
My name is Joy Spring.
And welcome to the only podcast where we discuss, the latest news trends, all the tips and tidbits that you need that will help you live your life filled with a whole lot of love.
If we're being completely honest, we made this entire podcast for the sake of Aaron Taide.
Yes.
Because he needs some love in his life. So, kinailangan namin maghanap ng paraan to find love for Aaron. So, if you're a single woman interested in Aaron, please use the hashtag create with love and hashtag that's wonderful to join the conversation. And maybe, not just through this podcast will you be able to add love to your life, but you can also add love to Aaron's life.
See, I know
right, guys?
people are looking
Right?
at this. Grabe to si Joy. Sobrang nakakatawa. That is real. Please send in all of the applications.
No, but really, thank you so much for tuning in. We're so happy with the positive and the wonderful feedback that we got from the first episode. And we thank you guys for all of your comments, your suggestions, and your topic suggestions. Ang ganda ng mga topic suggestions parts. Well, I was in the States for maybe 10 days. And
maybe 10 days. Hindi natin sure.
Can't count. It's not my strongest suit parts. We both know that. I was in the States for a while, and I was there because my best friend's kid, who was my godson, Mackenzo. For a second, I forgot his name, Mackenzo.
Di mo alam kung ilang days ka doon, di mo alam yung pangalan. Okay, we're off to a great start
we
again.
Off to a great start. No, but I spent my days again in Virginia, and then I went to New York. I was in Washington for a day, and I really had such an amazing time. So just take a little bit of a break. I think living life with wonder means living life with a lot of curiosity in your bones. And a lot of people would always say that travel is wonderful. You have to go travel and experience new things. But I think the conversation that's behind that is the fact that when you travel and when you do all of these amazing things, it's not only that you discover things and people and new experiences around you, but you discover a lot of things about yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's what I love about traveling.
Speaking of discovering, what I always seem to do whenever me and my friends go out of town, it is always my job to, it's so profiling, medyo profiling yung ginagawa nila sa akin. So they always make me take care of the music. Whether it is the music in the car while we're riding up or the music when we get to wherever we're going, because this time around we rented like a beach house.
Okay, hindi na island. Last time na nag-beach trip si Aaron, island yung nirent nila.
Oo, pero walang kuryente. Kaya medyo ibang feeling naman nun. This one, may kuryente naman.
Okay.
And yeah, so like on the way up, we were listening to all different kinds of music, and I wanted to make sure that everyone had like a certain sound that they are always used to. Like, for instance, I know that if I'm in my car and you are with me, I know I can't really listen to all of my really, really deep, dark hip-hop music because you'll be like, Parts! Palitan mo na yan! Ano ba yan? Galit na naman sila!
Hindi ganun kataas yung boses ko unang-una.
Parts, palitan mo yan. Galit na naman
yan.
sila.
Hindi ko kaya eh. I think music has a way kasi of affecting your mood, right?
Yes.
So if you're the type of person that likes yung ganong klaseng music, I think mas strong yung personality mo kaysa sa akin. Kasi ako naapektuhan ako. Feeling ko ako yung pinapagalitan ng rapper. As in, ba't mo ko pinapagalitan? Nakikinig lang naman ako sa'yo ganun.
I love the fact that in a lot of different people, when it comes to music, what is your traveling music? What do you like listening to when you're on the road?
You know this, and this is kind of embarrassing. I like listening to classical music and jazz.
Legit to ha?
Legit to.
Classical music. Jazz is fine. I listen to jazz. But classical music, legit yan.
I think one time, Aaron had to ride in my car. And so, alam mo yung parang in-off mo yung sasakyan mo na naka-blast pa yung radio station or whatever I was playing on my phone or my Spotify then. And so, when I opened the car, as in nag-blast yung, I don't know, some piece from Bach or something. And he was just like, what the hell are you listening to?
Yeah, as in, you don't expect it eh. You go into someone's car, you kind of expect that you're going to hear maybe some Taylor Swift or... Because, I mean, that's the kind of music that we used to play on the radio.
Yeah, sure, parts. Me.
You love Taylor Swift.
Yes. Swifties!
But, I mean, when you come in and then you had a really long day and you're like, oh, let's hang out. And it's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And you're kind of like, wait a minute.
No, but because it helps me relax and think.
Yes.
While I'm driving. And when you're hearing classical music while you're in traffic, I guess it's more dramatic. Pag, alam mo yung parang cut to, na yung scene ng kotse mo, tas nagwawala ka na dun sa loob, pero walang naririnig sa labas. Pero pagpasok ng camera sa loob, biglang, Does that make sense? Yes!
It's called contrapunta.
You got it. You got it. No, but I feel like Aaron Atayde here has, I guess, he's one of the siguro top 2 or top 1 dito si Aaron when it comes to discovering new music. Like, whenever I need new artists to listen to, or, for example, artists that have been around that I have absolutely no idea are amazing and I'd fall in love with, like Tom Misch, who I watched eventually when I was in New York last year, live performing. I fell in love with him, but I never listened to his music until Aaron Atayde introduced me to it. So, now, I talk about my classical, jazz, whatever music, and I'm sure a lot of you guys could also relate to that. I'm not alone, I know. Please don't tell me I'm alone. But Aaron here has probably, I'm willing to admit it, better musical taste than me.
Something I'm better at than you. See, the thing is, I always wanted to be an artist, but I always knew
Okay,
I
drop
couldn't do
some
it.
lines, Aaron. Drop it.
So, no, we're not that kind of podcast.
Andito na kami. So that's wonderful. At mamaya, tayo ay magpapa-wonderful. It's funny. They're laughing, bro.
Someone please play the cricket sound at this time. I always wanted to be an artist. I always wanted to, sing and stuff, and I couldn't do it. Joyce, on the other hand, can, and you're really, really good at it. If there's a local artist on Spotify right now that I have been listening to, is this song. It's called Baka Sakali.
Baka Sakali.
Do you know that song?
I'm familiar with
You're
it.
familiar. It's a really good song. It's just I can't remember who sang it.
And the music video is out now also, by the way.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. Oh, yes!
Ikaw nga pala yun, no?
That is my song.
That is your song.
With Rico Blanco.
Yes.
And Rico Blanco does not sing on that track. I think some people have been messaging me like, oh, asan na si Rico? Akala ko ba collaboration to? Siya po yung nagigitara. Siya yung nagigitara.
I love the fact that I know somebody that is a local artist on Spotify.
Love you, Parts.
It's amazing to see it. And I've always told you that, you should always follow that. Like, you should always push for your singing. What would you tell a lot of the local artists right now that are thinking about getting into Spotify and putting their music out there?
I think not just me. When you look at the other Filipino local artists right now who are on Spotify, who are making it in the music industry, many of them started out as an indie artist, right? So they would write, produce, and upload their own songs, and they would market their own songs, and they'll use social media for it. So not just me, a lot of these artists could encourage you to go and set out and pursue your love for music, because it's so much easier now, in the sense that you actually have all of these amazing platforms where you can put your music out, whether that's YouTube, that's Spotify, that's wherever on the social media sphere. Pwede mo nang gawin eh. So there's really no excuse for you if you're a creative and you want to put your work out there. Kayang-kaya na, right?
What do you listen to as an artist when you're looking for other artists on Spotify, especially the local ones? We can concentrate on them right now because, that's what's wonderful. That scene is growing. Who are you listening to?
So many people. I love the local music scene these days, and I've loved it ever since I was in high school, because I started doing band stuff when first time ko magbanda, 14 years old pa lang ako. I was this nerd in Kisay with some other nerds who put together a band that was called Save the Filipino Unicorns. Because scientifically, you cannot prove that there aren't any unicorns.
Yes.
Nothing is impossible until it's proven. So now you see all of these incredible bands that have been rising, like Ben and Ben or Forest Spades, that's now collaborating with Rico Blanco as well. Or you have people who have been around for a while now, like Mayonnaise and all of these urban dub, diba? Or sila Gab Alipe, who are releasing new music also. I love Autotelic. I love Keiko Necesario. I think Jules Savard has amazing writing skills, and so many other artists. I'd like to say that the local Filipino music scene has been thriving.
Yes.
It's been thriving for a while now, but I guess because of social media and now people are paying a lot of attention to it, mas may nakikita na tayo na mga gigs, mga live events, and then you hear it more often played on the radio. And I guess that's what we touched on in the previous episodes. Na when we celebrate Filipino language or Filipino culture, it's not just the language itself or the culture itself. Parang lahat tayo na-alleviate with the fact that, hey, it's cool pala, no, to celebrate who you are as a Filipino. Right?
I love the fact right now that we went back to the banda days.
Yeah,
You remember before
tama.
kasi super banda days eh. Whether it was like the River Maya, the E-Heads era, or even after that. And now we're going back to it with a lot of good artists. Of course, Joyce is more inclined with the banda scene. I'm a little bit more in the hip-hop, R&B side.
So, sino nga yung mga artists? I know that you've been making me listen to amazing Filipino artists.
I send a lot of links to Joyce. If you take a look at our Telegram, it's really just mostly like links.
That's true.
Listen to this, okay. Like one artist that I absolutely love, her name is Augustoa, who is amazing. She has an EP with producer and DJ Crown. You remember Crown? He did some songs with Jess Connolly, and we'll talk about her in a bit. But Augustoa is so delicate with her voice.
So good.
So good. Incredible range. Great lyricist. I think that she's somebody that is on the cusp of like really making that next level. Kind of like how people used to look at BP. Parang
Yeah,
ganon.
galing.
Galing. Super galing niya. Another R&B artist is Earl of Manila. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He's also very R&B, and he's got a little bit of some tech sound, and it's very, very good. And then, of course, the queen of it all, the one that has reached, the two that have reached like other levels, aside from like Careless Music, where James and Kurt and Brett and all of those guys and Curtis Smith, and they're doing well. Kiana is very good. I love the sound that she has. And of course, Jess Connolly, who's now doing the tour circuit with huge names like Masego and like all of these people just doing wonders for what we can do as Filipino artists.
What do you think makes up for original Filipino music?
Right now, nothing. I think we have reached the point where even anywhere that you look, it is now at a point where it is just good music.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think there was a time when a lot of the Filipino artists were trying to keep the Filipino sound. And I think that that's what Eli Buendia was talking about
That's
before.
true, yeah.
He's like-
May Pinoy sound
Yes.
quote-unquote Pinoy sound,
And I remember Ellie even saying that the Itchy Worms were one of the last bands that had that Pinoy banda na tunog. I think now we've gotten to a point where it's just like, whether it's Filipino, it's American, it's English, it's Australian, it's Indonesian, whatever, good music will be respected as good music.
That's true.
And I am so happy about that because the Filipino is very good at making music.
And alam mo, I like the fact that we're constantly evolving with the music also, the Filipino scene. Because as you said, before, there had to be like a certain sound for it to be Pinoy music. But now, Filipino music is what Filipino creates.
Yes.
So that's what makes it. But do you think there's a language that it should be made in? Like some people say na, hindi, kung Filipino artist ka, dapat Filipino, dapat Tagalog yung language mo. Bakit ka English yung ginagamit? What do you think about that?
For one, cannot say because, like, for instance, for me, I will enjoy Baka Sakali or Ayokong Tumanda from the Itchy Worms or songs from Sponge Cola or, you know, whoever that would sing it in Tagalog just as much as I would appreciate the other songs that have not been released that I've heard you sing or, you know, stuff from Ototelik or Ben and Ben, whether it's the English Ben and Ben or the Tagalog Ben and Ben, I
Yeah.
appreciate them because they are Ben and Ben.
Preferring English from Filipino or Filipino from English is like saying, I prefer death metal over jazz
Yeah.
or jazz over death metal. They are two very different things, but they're both music.
Yes.
It's just a matter of how you express yourself.
And it doesn't make one less OPM than the other.
That's
Just saying.
true. It's wonderful to see all these amazing Filipino artists just thriving and rising, and even better, helping each other out to make
Yes.
the community work even better, right?
As somebody that is in this community, because before we were on the outside looking in, we were the DJs that were playing their music.
Yeah.
Now I am no longer a DJ. You are now in this,
Yeah.
the community. Is it healthier now than when it was before?
I mean, I guess it's kind of the same in the sense that we're still playing gigs. We're still going to all of these pubs and bars and to these events and festivals and seeing amazing Filipino bands on stage. But now you see the audience shifting, right? Because now you have no idea. For example, sabihin natin, merong Filipino rap artist like Shanty Dope playing on stage, and then afterwards, My December Avenue. The audience will sing and rap with Shanty Dope as much as they will sing and, you know, be senti with December afterwards. And I guess if anything, the only difference is the lines are being blurred as with regards to how the audience responds to the music. It's not the same anymore before na, hindi, dito lang tayo sa banda kasi ito yung Pinoy music. Ngayon, dito tayo sa rap, dito tayo sa R&B, dito tayo sa banda because they are all Filipino
May
music.
mga DJs pa. and
Yeah,
all
my
of that.
DJs pa and everything. So I guess more than anything, it's just the constant evolving of the Filipino music industry.
Do you think that we've made up more in like the last 2-3 years than we had like maybe the 4 or 5 years before that?
I
Because
think
it's a certain boom that has just happened.
I think we've been making the same amount, maybe more, but not by so much. There isn't a lot of disparity, but definitely we are responding more to it than
What would you want to see happen now?
I guess just constantly for it to go through this direction, that people are listening to it, people are sharing it, people are proud that they're listening to Filipino artists and Filipino music. Before, I met people who were ashamed when they said na, favorite band ko, Sponge Cola or Mayonnaise or Up Dharma Down. Kailangan cool band ka, parang kailangan Death Cab for Cutie or something, right? For you to love music talaga. Yun yung sinasabi nilang legit if it's a foreign band. But now, people understand that Filipino music is amazing and you gotta embrace it, you gotta love it. You can enjoy it also without feeling like you have to cover yourself up. And I know that that's sad that we only get to do that now, but I've seen it in a lot of circles, right? Like before when I would do my band and when we had group hug and we were playing gigs, they'd always be like, mag-cover na lang kayo. Wag na kayo mag-original music kasi mas okay, mas nagre-respond yung mga tao pag cover. And that's true.
Yeah, it really is.
And it used to be like that, but now it's different. And sometimes you'll see local artists covering local artists also.
Yes, exactly.
Rico Blanco does this new thing on YouTube that he calls Recovered. So he covers different Filipino songs also.
Nice.
So it's cool.
I'm happy about that. I'm super happy about that. You know how much I love my music. So, what about you guys? What are you listening to whenever it comes to your local artists? Like, who are you listening to? I will guarantee you send me who it is, I will listen to it. I'm that type of person. I love listening to music recommendation.
Oh, and if you have your own music also that's out, because I see a lot of people, young people making their own music, uploading it on YouTube or Spotify and just marketing it on their own, on their social media accounts. Please do link it to us, #CreateWithLove and #That's Wonderful on all your social media accounts. That was wonderful parts.
Yes, and if ever you are just like me and can't make music playlists, you can follow mine at Aaron Ataide on Spotify. Thank you very much.
That's right. Aaron makes his own playlists.
Yes, I do.
It's very cool. You know what other thing Aaron is good at apart from new music and just making you listen to amazing artists, whether that's foreign artists or Filipino artists, it's also your Netflix selections.
Yes. It is mainly because I, again, very frustratedly wanted to be a director. I went to film school, so I always loved like the thought of TV and movies from behind the scenes instead of what I'm doing right now, which is in front of it. So I always like watching a lot of stuff. I like learning, and I love the fact that Netflix has now been net-filled with Filipino stuff.
Yes, that's true. It's cool.
Yes.
It's cool. Wait, okay, so before we go into that, what are the shows that you've been following on Netflix? Top 3, Aaron. We don't have the entire afternoon for this.
Wow, I don't know. Like top three all time?
Off the top of your head.
Well, I mean, you have to have Friends and How I Met Your Mother there.
Okay, that's 2.
Those are 2. And then probably Stranger Things, I would say. I
cool.
mean, yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah.
All right.
But I've watched everything else. It's just those are the first 3 that come to mind.
Aaron has a lot of time. And I finished Mindhunter Season 2.
Oh, nice. How was it?
Very disturbing.
Which is good sometimes.
Which is sometimes good. I also watched The Family because I saw you watching it on
That was
Netflix.
great.
That was amazing.
That was super solid.
And also The Great Hack.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one was really good. Oh, the editing and the production of that was
Very,
great.
very good. But one thing that I think a lot of people were happy to see on Netflix is, as you mentioned, Filipino titles.
Yes, who would have thought? I mean, everyone would always look at Netflix and it would be just like westernized stuff. I mean, whether it's Sherlock or,
Netflix originals.
Netflix originals. No one really expected to see that we would get to the point where, ang daming Pinoy stuffs.
Oh, daming Pinoy stuffs. What have you been watching on Netflix sa mga Filipino titles?
Okay, I'm going to start it out with one that's not a movie. I know it's not Filipino,
Okay.
but it's about Filipinos.
I know what you're talking about.
It's called Happy Jail.
Yes.
It's a docuseries about the dancing inmates in Cebu. And it's a mini-series. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to give any details away because it's very interesting on the way that they touched on a lot of different things and items that go on in the Philippines. So it's funny because there was one segment where, listening to Philippine radio and it was really cool.
Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. The guy wasn't there anymore. But yeah, it's so cool how that went. That's when I was like, okay, now that that there's like some Filipino docuseries, there has to be some Filipino stuff. So of course I watched By Bust again. Which was great. My cousin Arjo was in it, and he was fantastic. Phenomenal job for him there. And I watched Vince Catherine James.
Is it there on Netflix?
Yeah.
Is it? Cool. I didn't know that.
I wanted to go back to the happy days.
Oh. Oh no. See, but that's what I love about Filipino titles kasi we have a lot of rom-coms.
Yes,
we have a
we
lot
do.
of comedies. We have a lot of fantasies. Di ba yung mga
Yes.
fantasy movies and a lot of romantic movies. Ang dami talaga. One thing that I enjoyed in the documentary part, it's not necessarily a Filipino docu. It's called Street Food, but they featured the street food in Cebu. Yeah. And when I was in Cebu a couple of weeks back, I actually got to meet some of the vendors
way.
there. Yeah, so I tried their yung eel nila, yung fried eel. I tried the yung parang yung may puso rice with the pig brain.
Yeah.
Try that also. And then, of course, I ate the lechon.
Of course.
So it was amazing. You can watch that. And my friend, actually, she was the one to host it. Si Jude Bacalso.
Yo.
Yeah, so Jude is one of my amazing friends who travel a lot around the Philippines. And she was the one to take people around in Cebu for that.
That is so wonderful.
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about like Filipino street food in Cebu, you could check that out. I have to be honest. Before, I didn't get to watch a lot of Filipino movies because I didn't used to watch a lot of movies, period. Like, Aaron was so surprised by the fact that I don't go to the movies a lot.
Yes.
I've never watched yung mga Lord of the Rings, yung Star Wars.
Oh,
That's not Star Wars?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I just wanted to ruin it for Aaron. Of course, I've watched Star Wars and the Battle of Pursuits or something.
What?
I don't know.
Star Wars at the Battle of Pursuits?
I have no idea.
Where is the Pursuits?
In the Battle Galactica or something. Anyway, my point is, I don't get to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't get to watch a lot of Filipino movies, and I have to catch up through Netflix.
What'd you watch?
Miss Granny. Oh my
is it
gosh.
good?
It's so good. Did you guys watch that? Miss Granny with Sarah Geronimo is one of the most charming, heartwarming movies you'll ever watch. And may I say, Miss Sarah Geronimo is an amazing grandma dancer. Kasi meron siya dong part where she's like a grandma and then nagpa-picture siya sa isang studio and then she goes back to being, I think, 25 ata or something. And there was one scene where she walks through the park, tapos merong mga nagzuzumba. Eh, syempre, di ba, pag lola ka na, medyo mahirap na magzumba or gumalaw-galaw. So, one of the things that she loved doing was just moving her body around. But she was so good because she was still such a good dancer. But then she was doing lola moves. Like yung
Nice.
mga Zumba dancing na ganun. It was really, really fascinating to see that. And Seven Sundays is really good too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Heaven's Waiting, have you watched that? Very, like, iyak.
I want to see a lot of Filipino indie films make their way to Netflix because that's something that I enjoy watching. I mean, I enjoy my rom-coms and I will always go back to them whenever I need to have a nice little cry. Yes, gentlemen, you need one too. But I love my indie films. I hope that indie film scene in the Philippines makes its way to Netflix, and I would be so thrilled to see that.
One film that I was able to watch in the cinemas, I'm not sure if it's indie ha, but have you guys heard of Signal Rock? It became super popular before. Mga last year ata. It's such a good film. I got to watch it in UP. Tapos, if it comes to Netflix, I think you'd love that.
Oh man, see, that's what I'm hoping for.
Signal Rock, so good. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions for us for Filipino titles to try out and watch on the weekends, I guess, diba? Or if you have time, that would be great.
Yes, I would love to get any recommendations. I mean, yes, if there are other, English or Western or American titles that you can give us, I would be more than happy to see them as well. Anything that you would suggest, like I said, I will be more than down to get down.
But, also with all of these amazing Filipino titles that you see on Netflix, apart from the Filipino movies that are making it on Netflix, there are also Filipino actors and celebrities that are making it to the international stage with regards to, like, being a part of the shows.
Oh, nice.
Right? So, for example, si Bibi Gandang Hari, I think she was in Glow.
Oh,
new season.
dope.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an episode of Glow?
Yeah, I've seen it.
love that. I
It's
love that
so
first
fun.
season.
And I
Yeah.
love their outfits.
Yeah.
So cool.
80s na 80s lang ang
Yeah.
datingan.
And I also know the...
Birdshot.
Yes,
Birdshot was a
Birdshot.
Globe Studios movie, and it's on Netflix right now. Hopefully, you guys do check that out. That was very, very good too.
I mean, we've watched a couple of Filipino titles, but we know that you guys have some amazing suggestions too. So if you have them,
please do send them in. Make sure you use the hashtag #CreateWithLove, and hashtag That's Wonderful on all your social media outlets.
Awesome. All right. So now we move on to our next segment where we discuss 3 topics, and this is going to be fun. You guys just have to tell us and tweet us at JoySpring, at Ernataide, if you think it's wonderful or not so wonderful. This is what we call
Wonderful! Number 1 is the presence of booktubers on YouTube.
Yes, Ernataide, what can you say?
What is a booktuber? Share your
Okay.
thoughts on whenever this is wonderful or not. What is a booktuber?
Let me educate you. So booktubers are basically channels and YouTubers who focus on talking about books. So they talk about the books that they love, books that they hate,
That
books
is awesome.
that they want to suggest to other people. Yeah, so you should get on it, Parts.
No, I mean, it never comes up on my recommended.
You probably don't research a lot of books on your
No,
YouTube.
it's mostly like Sam the Cooking Guy. It's
Yeah.
all my basketball and sports stuff. But yeah, I would be more than willing to recommend books.
Yeah, so booktubers and YouTube are very, very fun and they're wonderful. If you also would like to search, I have a channel that I follow, I forgot it, but it's about C.S. Lewis. And what they do is basically per chapter, he reads through it. And then he has an illustration. Or parang like a concise version of the book or the chapter. And then there's an illustration that he reads over. So it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Booktubers. That's
Okay.
wonderful.
Topic number 2, the fame of superfoods and how they can make us look good. Which
Like
one are
what?
superfoods again? Does caramel popcorn come in
Nope.
that? No?
But
is that acai?
it tastes super. Chia seeds.
Okay.
Pride. Yung pride
So,
mo. Super.
hindi ko malunok eh. Kaya talo. The famous superfoods and how they can make us look good. Do you have any superfoods? Quinoa,
Okay.
is that one? No, it's just acai, chia seeds, kale. See, props to all the millennials. I want to say a nice shout out to all the millennials who turned a garnish on a plate
That's true.
into a superfood.
Okay, I just have to say, superfoods in general are wonderful, especially because from being garnished, they are now very expensive and very good for
I
you,
know.
apparently. But what's not so wonderful is the price of the superfoods. It's a little pricey, guys. It's medyo pricey.
Yes. I wish I could afford superfoods, but until I can afford just foods, I will just stay with where I'm at right now.
I just have to say, though, that in behalf of all the other millennials out there,
Excuse me, Miss Beethoven. Okay.
hoy, millennials also listen to Beethoven, ah.
Okay.
With regards to superfoods, I think we should try it more often. So I bought a bag of chia seeds and it's been sitting in my counter for maybe 2 months now. But if you mix it with milk or nutmeg or something like that, you can make it into healthy dessert. And it's good for you. Superfoods are good for you.
You give that to me because I still gotta buy
Normal
my regular
foods.
meats and stuff.
All right.
Okay, topic number 3, blooming late.
Ano ibig sabihin yan?
Wait, is this as in late bloomers? Ganon? Sakto. Ako yun, late bloomer ako.
Late bloomer ka pa, hindi ka pa nga nagbo-bloom.
Kaya nga late bloomer eh.
Ah, okay. So, is blooming late wonderful or not?
Wait, do you consider yourself a late bloomer, an early bloomer, or saktong bloomer? I don't know. Is that, I don't know.
You peaked in grade school.
My intellect, yes.
I think I was an early
Yeah.
bloomer. I was an early bloomer, I'd like to think. The thing that my parents would always tell me when I was younger was that I was always in a hurry to grow up.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's a bloom thing, but it's just a growing up thing. And
Yeah.
I felt like I discovered and experienced a lot of things at such a young age. Maybe I started traveling on my own when I was 21. It was late for me to start traveling, but it was early for me to start traveling on my own using my own money.
Uh-huh.
So I think I'm kind of an early bloomer in that sense.
No, early bloom might not be the best way to describe it because some people might have like a negative connotation with early blooming.
Okay.
I think that you are just a fast bloomer. You are the type of person kasi, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
When you started traveling, you just started traveling everywhere. It was like, we got to
That's
do this and that and that and that and that and that and that. And then when you were like, oh, let's try marathon. Let's do a triathlon. You know, it's like you go faster because you want to prove to yourself that you are doing it right. And that has
Yeah.
always been the way that...
Oh, love you, Parts. That's a good thing. It's the first nice thing you told me in
Oh,
the
she took
past
it
4
good.
years that we've been friends.
Ooh, that was a slippery slope. that could have gone down very, very differently.
So what are you saying? I look old?
No, I'm just saying you look fast. Okay. I'm a late bloomer though.
Do you think you're a late bloomer?
Am. I didn't start going out until I was like in college.
And he's never stopped since.
No, I have now.
Oh.
But I didn't get my first girlfriend until college. I was always just in front of my computer playing video games like, love will find me here.
And it never did.
I'm still waiting.
And that's why the first announcement on this podcast episode is still legitimate and still valid.
So I'm wonderful on late blooming. It's what I've been doing.
I think just in general, constantly finding ways to bloom is wonderful. So whether you're an early bloomer, as I coined myself, or a fast bloomer, as Aaron coined me, or a late bloomer, as Aaron coined himself, I think it's wonderful just being able to see yourself go from one phase or one season of your life to another.
Yes.
And the time that we stop transitioning and stop evolving to a better version or to a bloomed out version of ourselves is the time that we really start getting sad or not growing. And I think that's what we have to focus on.
Yes. And no matter where you are, bloom wherever you are planted.
That's right. And also, stop comparing yourself with the timelines of others. We've talked about this before, Aaron and myself, but every individual, we have our own different timelines. Some people bloom faster than others. Others are just slower. But that doesn't mean that you will never bloom or that you won't ever reach your full potential. It just means that we all have different timelines.
Yes, not all trees grow at the same rate. Look at us!
Substance.
Earlier, we were talking about like stuff on Netflix and Spotify, and now we're... See, we can do it all, guys. And that's what this podcast is about.
Thanks for hiring us. That's right. And if you guys are listening to this podcast, don't forget to download the Globe Rewards app because Globe is coming up with a wonderful surprise on September 17 as a way to say thank you to our subscribers. Hey, and this is a bi-monthly podcast in partnership with Globe where we give you all things wonderful, whether that's from news, tips, and tidbits about life and love, and of course, everything that's happening all over the world.
Yes, when she says bi-monthly, it's twice a month, not every other month. I'm sorry I was late, guys. Thank you guys for listening, though. This is fun.
Yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions for topics and you have any comments, artists that you'd like us to listen to, Filipino titles that you'd like us to watch, or any wonderful stories that you'd like to share with us, use the hashtag #CreateWithLove and hashtag That's Wonderful on all your social media accounts.
So thank you for all you that have listened today. And if you missed the first episode, wait at the end of this. I think it should play the first episode as well. So just hang on right there. I'm Aaron Ataida.
I'm Joy Spring.
And thank you guys for hanging out with us. This has been That's Wonderful.
Paalam.